On Tuesday, Republican voters in Kentucky's 4th Congressional District will be choosing between 7-term Republican Congressman Thomas Massie or the Trump-endorsed challenger Ed Galrain, because Donald Trump doesn't seem to like Thomas Massie very much, and I'm basing that on what the president has been posting on Truth Social for months. Quote, Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky is not MAGA. MAGA doesn't want him and doesn't respect him. Here's another. Massie is weak, ineffective, and votes no on virtually everything put before him. Here's another. Third-rate Congressman Thomas Massie is a weak and pathetic rhino and must be thrown out of office ASAP. And Thomas Massie is a complete, total disaster. We must make sure he loses. And here's another. I predict Thomas Massie will go down as the worst Republican congressman in the long and fabled history of the United States Congress. So there it is, and the primary happens there on Tuesday. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie is with us. Congressman, good to see you. Tough situation here. The latest poll has you down by 5 points to your opponent. How concerned are you right now about losing this race?
Well, Rob, in that litany of insults, you forgot that Trump called me a moron at the prayer breakfast. And I have to say for myself, I'm glad I'm in his prayers. I'm taking it all with a grain of salt. When I talk to him privately, he calls me a sharp cookie and a tough cookie because he knows I'm tough to beat and he knows I'm smart about legislation. My election will happen on the 6-month anniversary of the passage of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a promise that he made, but a promise that I kept to the American people. That poll is full of bunk, not a very reliable pollster. If that poll were accurate, if the other side thought they were up, they wouldn't be spreading lies and running fake AI ads that show me checking into a hotel room with AOC and Ilhan Omar. My own polls do show that it's a close race, and so it's going to come down to turnout.
Let me just ask you, so your opponent switched parties, Donald Trump switched parties at one point. You're a Republican. You've been a Republican for your entire time in Congress. Why have you fought Trump on so many different important issues? And it's a litany of issues. The big, beautiful bill, bills to fund DHS, border wall funding, strikes on Iran, military action in Venezuela, the list goes on. You voted against the Republican Party over 70 times in 2025 alone. So how do you explain that, given what we went through for 4 years with Joe Biden in the Oval Office?
Well, when I was 18, I walked down to the courthouse and I filed as Republican, and I'm not changed since. My opponent, yes, he changed parties. Yes, Trump changed parties. But my opponent changed parties because Trump won the nomination in 2016. And he stayed out of the party for 5 years. He only came back after he thought it was safe because Trump lost his re-election to Joe Biden. I vote with the party 90% of the time. Let me give you some examples. I voted for the border. I voted for the SAVE Act. I voted for all those things you like. But if you vote for against just one of these omnibus bills up here, whether it's Biden's or Obama's or Trump's, they can say, oh, you voted against the military. What we got to do up here is quit putting all the bills in one bill. They love, the swamp loves it because they can run those ads against you.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if they are voting, for instance, to spy on Americans without a warrant, to cover up the Epstein files, or to bankrupt this country, that's where I deviate from the party and I stick to the principles the party stands for.
No, I understand that, but we also have to get things accomplished, no matter how challenging that might be. And I just think that
we don't need to bankrupt the country in the process. I get bills passed that people care about in Kentucky. One of them is called the Prime Act. It's in the Farm Bill. It'll make it easier for farmers to sell their beef, pork, and lamb locally and get out from under the oppressive reign of the USDA on these small processing facilities.
All right, I just want to play you one of your ads that you've been running in your district over the past couple of weeks. Let's take a look.
So there's no sense in trying to avoid it. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. I agree with President Trump a whole lot more than I disagree with him. The list is long. I'm Thomas Massie, and I approve this message because President Trump and I have a whole lot more to get done together.
President Trump and I have a whole lot more to get done together. Look, I just went through the Truth Social posts. I don't think President Trump agrees with you.
Well, he signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act almost the day it passed. He didn't try to veto it. And so I was glad to have his support on that. I'm sure he'll sign the Farm Bill when it gets his desk. It's got my legislation in it called the Prime Act. We do have a lot of stuff to get done. I voted for the SAVE Act every time it comes up in the House. I would love to see that get done. We got to get John Thune to get off his duff and bring it up for a vote in the Senate. So there are a lot of things that I agree with Trump on. Let's get them done.
All right, quick one, Congressman. I have to ask you about this. Let me just play you a soundbite to set this all up. This is an allegation against you. An ex-girlfriend is accusing you of offering her money to drop a wrongful termination complaint against Congresswoman Victoria Sparks. She says basically she was fired after you two broke up. Take a look.
He said, you're just one person, that you can't make a difference, that you need to just walk away. And then he had $5,000 that he said that he would give me if I would just walk away. I didn't take it, though.
Is that true, Congressman?
No, it's a total lie, and it's already been debunked online. She's already telling people that I gave her $5,000 in December before she even took the job. How can hush money be paid months in advance before somebody gets fired when you don't anticipate them getting fired? That's sort of ridiculous. And it's also come out since we've seen that video. She was being interviewed by an attorney who's a guy I beat in 2012 at the law offices of a guy I beat in 2020, and that was put on the internet by a guy I beat in 2024. They're all attorneys who are scorned, they're hateful, they're shameful because I blew them out in an election, and they took a little time off from chasing ambulances to put that poor woman on video.
Okay. Congressman Thomas Massie, best of luck to you on Tuesday. We'll be watching. Thank you.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.